Oh, the wrong one.
That's okay. I mean,
Come on. Such delays. It'll be there.
it already played.
I'm talking about the TV one.
I just saw it. Okay, for some reason it puts you
The
on.
show. Yet on my end, it doesn't show. Hey, welcome to the world of technical mishaps. Anyway, happy birthday, Steve. Happy 50th birthday,
Thank
Steve.
you.
How you doing
Yeah.
today?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm doing good. You know.
Good.
I
Thanks
mean,
so much for being here.
yeah, I mean turning 50, I don't feel any different now than say I did when I was 49 or 47 or 44. I still feel, about the same. I haven't really, changed or anything. I mean, but I mean, it's, so far it's been um a nice good birthday. I can't really complain. And
That's wonderful.
there's a few things in store for me. So that right there I look forward to. So that'll be fun.
And I have to say, Steve, you were born in one of the most amazing years that I remember because I lived through them as a teenager in
Hmm.
high school. I was a sophomore in high school in 1974. Steve, you picked a really good year to be born. I'm telling you, the music was great. The
Hmm.
energy was great. The TV shows were great. The
Hmm.
movies were great. You know,
Hmm.
Steve, I have a trivia question for you about some of the movies that came out back then? Well, there's one question. And thank you, viewers, for being here. We so appreciate you. Maybe perhaps one of you guys out there could know the answer to this movie question. Okay, Steve, I'm going to throw this at everyone. What was the number one movie in 1974? Was it Blazing Saddles or Towering Inferno or Billy Jack? Give everybody a second.
Hmm.
So, Blazing Saddles or Towering Inferno or Billy Jack. Now, I know you kind of wouldn't remember it from being a baby, but you did hear about them. Would you know offhand, Steve?
Yeah, actually, I do know the answer. What I originally thought was a number one is not the number one movie. Although as popular as it was, I thought Towering Inferno would have been it. Actually, I'll be honest, the one I really, really thought would have been the number one movie of 74, even though it came out a day after Christmas in 73, but it crossed over. I would have said The Exorcist, but that's not on your list. But I'm just going to say, like I said, I think it's Towering Inferno, but I bet you something tells me it's probably Blazing Saddles.
Yes, Blazing Saddles was number one. However, a
Yeah.
close second. Towering Inferno was the second runner up, if you will.
Okay.
Next, Billy Jack. But my personal favorite, Steve, I have a personal favorite from 1974. Do you think you might know what it might be?
Yeah, isn't it that one? It has been remade. It was based on the subway, I believe.
No.
Is it that one, The Taking of Pilgrim 1, 2, 3, or what is that? Is that what? Do I have it right? Okay.
Absolutely. The Taking of Pelham 123. I saw that in the movies, and there's a little funny story about this. Has nothing to do with your birthday, but
Uh huh.
I used to actually ride the train that they were depicting in order to go to high school. So they were trying to portray it as the number six train, the IRT Pelham line.
Hmm.
But I used to ride that every day to get to school. So when they turned that into the movie, it was kind of like, and then of course they called it Pelham 123 for the movie, obviously, but they were depicting the number six line. Oh my word! You were born an amazing year. That's all I could say.
Mhm.
um, so I have a true or false question, Steve. Maybe you know the answer to this. True or false? President Richard Nixon, was he the first to resign in 1974 as president of the United States because of a scandal called Watergate?
Right, right. Oh, that's a good question. I know there hasn't really been all that many presidents that resigned from presidency. But was he the first? Um,
Yes. Was he
oh
the
wow.
first? Is the question.
Yeah. I may get
And it was
this wrong.
1974.
Yeah, yeah. I even know the day. It was August 8th, I believe, is when he did that infamous
Wow.
thing and got on the helicopter. Yeah, that I know I'm right on. I'm pretty sure.
That is
I'm
a
gonna
wow.
say
And you
I'm
even
gonna
know the
say
day.
no because I think there haven't been that many, but I think there was a president prior to him that got impeached or resigned. But I'll
You
say
know,
no.
I thought there was one also that resigned. I agree with you. I think there was one prior to that that was impeached. But according to my Google search, and this is according to Google search,
Uh-huh.
President Richard Nixon, he was the first to resign. So
Oh, he was. Okay, so I just learned
yeah,
something. Okay. All right.
yes. And as you know, there's a little backstory with the that I had actually met
Met
Mr.
Richard
President
Nixon. Mhm.
Nixon a couple of times. Anyway,
Mhm.
all right. That was because he was a patient where he used to work, blah, 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 blah. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
make a long story short. Let's see. What was the number one movie? 1974, Blazing Saddles. We did that. Steve, you're not going to believe this. And for the folks watching, because we're celebrating Steve's 50th birthday. First of all, number one, before I go on, you don't look 50. I'm just saying.
No, I get that all the time. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody that looks at me, they say, "Oh, Steve, you've got to be about 40, 41, 38, 39." I said, "No, no, I'm not." I said, "I know I look it. I know that I come from good genes, which I do." But
Yeah.
I said, "No." I mean, even true story, this was when I was in my early 40s. This was back when I was 41. I was going to be 42 that year.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, this is a relative of mine by marriage, and they were, and they spoke up. This is a story between another relative of mine, two relatives of mine, and you know, spoke up and said, "Steve's 41." You're kidding? He's 41. He said, "I thought Steve was in his 30s." And keep in mind, at this point, when that was said, this relative by marriage had known me at least 20, 21,
Right.
1.5 years. And
Wow.
they thought I was in my early 30s. But no, that had to be straightened out. But no, I don't look 50. I carry my age extremely well.
Yes. Do you have any like maybe tips or tricks to to keep that youthful look? Like what do you attribute that
Okay.
to?
Well,
Besides good gene.
I have a couple. I mean, it's pretty easy to do. One, take care of yourself in your younger years. Do that. Make sure you get
I
plenty of
agree.
sleep. Take care of yourself. Um, make sure you get decent rest. Make sure eating fairly well helps as well. But primarily the biggest one of all is how you take care of yourself in your earlier years, which will later affect you as you get older. That's what I was
And
always
you're
told.
not a smoker and you're not a drinker.
No, I'm not. No.
Neither am I. like I've heard many people say, "Oh, you don't look your age," and I thank you for it. It's very kind, but because those things, they're just not healthy. It stresses the body out.
Mhm.
So anyway, okay. So here's some fun foods that came out in your year, and I was surprised to learn that it was in your year. I thought it was like longer than that, but upon my research, Kraft singles, those American
The
cheese
cheese.
slices. Yeah, your
Mhm.
year, 1974, amazing. Ragu spaghetti sauce. Jarred spaghetti sauce wasn't always around. Okay, not as a little kid, no. Okay, but then when
You
I
had to
was a
make your own.
teenager, I saw these jars of sauce, and I'm like, what? Steve and I already discussed it. Not your totally 100% favorite, that one, huh?
I don't well, I mean, I'm not saying I've never eaten ragu in the past. Now I will say
Mhm.
this, the ragu that's out now versus what you might have had, say, 35, 40 years ago, it's not the same sauce. It's in fact, to me, it tastes worse now than it did back then.
Worse? No.
But I no, ragu is not really I never buy it. Um,
Mhm.
if I want spaghetti sauce, I mean, I usually go after, a little bit better brand name. I'll either do like Classico is a good one. The Bertoli sometimes is a good one. Let's see. When I can afford it, and if they do a BOGO on it across the street, Rayo's is a nice
I
one.
knew it. I knew I'd hear Rayos come
Um,
up.
but a little bit cheaper, a little bit less expensive sauce to me, every bit step across from the Rayos is one called Botticelli, which I'm perfectly fine with. I'm
You,
good
you
with
know,
that.
Botticelli is very, very good. I like it too. And let's see, Steve, this is a trivia back to me on a jar of spaghetti sauce. Which do you think is my favorite? You mentioned all the good ones. I like everyone you mentioned. What's another one that I personally like besides Rayo's?
Yeah, and I know the answer. The only thing is, it's you can't find it in the grocery store. I don't see it.
You
Didn't you
can
say
once in a while, but I don't know about in your location. Go ahead.
yeah, no, is it I know it is it one called Vincent's, I think you said? Vincent's?
Vincent's, winner, winner,
Is
winner,
that it?
winner.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah, because Vincent's sauce, when I used to frequent that actual restaurant in the day, and it's still down there, yep. Their sauce is phenomenal. And the jar one matched the flavor of like when you would get it at the restaurant. And I remember like when I used to frequent that restaurant many years ago, for example, I'd go in the back room and ask, like, could you like fill up a container? I'll send you, just name the price. I want to bring some home. So they were like, yeah. I said, I'm not the only one that does that, right? And they're like, no. I said, why don't you guys bottle this stuff? Now,
Oh,
this was a long, long time ago. And
oh,
ultimately they did. So Vincent's, and my favorite one is the mild version. They do have a hot flavored version, but my personal is the mild one,
the
Vincent's.
mild.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh. You have good taste in spaghetti sauce, that Rayos too. Ooh. And Botticelli, Botticelli,
Yeah.
Botticelli. Very good. Very, very good. But you know what, Steve? If it wasn't for Ragu to be the pioneer and the breaking groundbreaker, that wouldn't have been. So I have to give them
No,
a
it
lot of
wouldn't
credit.
have. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do know how to, from my mom's side of the family, because I grew up with it or in the house. No, I do know how to make good spaghetti sauce from scratch. If I
Yes.
don't want jarred, I mean, I can make. Well, just think once upon a time before ragu, if you wanted sauce, you had to make your own. You had no other recourse.
Tell me about it. Yes.
Yeah, you had
Yes.
to make your own. So, um, I remember my dad walking around the house. Is the sugo ready? Sugo, Sugo, and that's the Sicilian word for spaghetti sauce. So,
Nice.
yeah, yeah, you.
Nice. Oh, I love it. Steve, also another food that came out in 74, which I thought was around longer than that, but no. Kraft real mayo.
Yeah, that doesn't
Yeah.
sound like a 70s. When I think of Kraft mayo, I actually thought of maybe sometime in the 60s, not so much the 70s. But
Wow. Steve,
um,
want to take a commercial break to remind the folks to do the following. if it works.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I should slip in a couple of those every now and again on mine. I don't I sometimes I get so wrapped up in what I'm talking about or
I'm
what I'm
terrible
doing.
at it myself. I'm
Yeah.
terrible at it. So don't even feel bad. I'm terrible at it. I hardly ever remind myself of, oh. So let's see. Another thing, another food that came out in your year, Steve, Kraft Parmesan grated cheese. Did you
I
ever eat that?
I buy that. Yeah, I buy it. Um I usually go to my wholesale club, because it that's definitely a staple where I'm at. And I buy the larger, $6, $7. I buy the larger Kraft grated Parmesan cheese. And yes, I've been using that even with my parents. I mean,
Yeah.
years. But I didn't know
It
it come
was
out 74 though. That's nice to know. Okay.
74. I mean, a lot of good stuff in 74. The movies, the TV shows.
Yeah.
There was another candy that came out in 74. We kind of sort of mentioned it last year. I'm wondering if you remember, there was a candy that was invented in 74, but it really didn't show up in the United States till later on. But you might remember it from last year. It's
Hmm.
colorful.
I think their slogan is "Taste the Rainbow."
I
Um,
think so too. Yeah.
is it the only? It's fruit flavored candy. The only one that comes to mind. I mean, my long term memory is fairly decent. It would have to be Skittles, maybe.
Yes, yes, good
Okay.
old Skittles, good old Skittles. Love, love, love Skittles. They're really, really good. Um, hey Steve, I have a question for you in reference to now you've had a number of birthdays since you're hitting 50 today. I'm just wondering something. Do you recall your absolutely favorite type of birthday cake based on past birthdays? You might have a couple that's your favorite kind of birthday cake.
Mm,
Would it be ice cream? Would it be home baked? Would it be from the grocery store or bakery?
um, actually, there was actually a couple, believe it or not. I don't, I feel bad because I used to love getting ice cream cakes from here, but they've changed their ways. It's Baskin Robbins, but now you have to go in. You go online now to order an ice cream cake, and everything is by default. You have to choose what they want you to have. Years ago, you used to be able to go into a Baskin Robbins and choose your cake that you wanted, vanilla, chocolate, or the
Yeah.
swirl, however you wanted, and you could pick any flavor ice cream you wanted. They don't do that anymore. Now it's all by default. But
Wow.
I had
That's
two.
interesting.
I had two Baskin Robbins ice cream cakes I liked. The first one was yellow cake with pumpkin ice cream. That was really good.
Oh my word.
The second one is a good friend of mine's and his mom for my 30th birthday. I'll never forget this. It was also a Baskin Robbins ice cream cake. It was chocolate cake, but the ice cream was almost like a Reese's ice cream because it was chocolate and
Oh
peanut
wow.
butter combined. So you had chocolate cake, but the ice cream was like a chocolate peanut butter. That would have been another one. So I've actually got those two cakes that were a couple of
That
my
sounds
favorite.
so wonderful. I love
Yeah,
that. Oh my word.
hmm
Very nice. You know what, Steve? We're into your birthday, but let us not forget it is also Halloween. Happy Halloween, everyone.
right.
And just for the record, does it come in kind of sort of handy that not only is it a great day of celebration for your personal birthday, but it's also a happy, happy-go-lucky, candy kind of day, and you know, just like a fun event type of thing. That must feel really nice every year. It's like a party every year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, even though I don't dress up costume wise anymore, no, I don't go trick or treating. Those days are long gone. But I do have to admit, I still like the candy. I mean,
Yeah.
I got a few candies out there that I still enjoy. One is called a Milky Way Midnight Bar. All it is a regular Milky Way candy bar, but it's got dark chocolate on it instead of milk. That
Oh,
one, I still like Snicker bars.
oh.
The Skittles, that's a good one.
How about
So
Kit
many.
Kat?
Kit Kat is a good one. Yeah, if you like that little
Oh,
crunchy. Um,
yeah, the little crunch. Yeah,
uh, Butterfinger,
amazing.
that's a good one. Mounds is a good one. That's another
Yes.
one with the dark chocolate. But I don't focus just on chocolate candy. I also like, the Twizzlers is good. Um,
Mhm.
there's
That's
another.
definitely your generation.
The
Twizzler, definitely your
Twizzler, yeah,
generation.
that's definitely an 80s thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another candy that was, again, it's chocolate, but it was my generation, was Reese's Pieces. Reese's Pieces. They look like M&Ms, but it was peanut butter.
Absolutely. From
And I'll tell.
ET.
Okay, so you know the backstory on that. I was about to just say that. Right.
Oh,
Right.
I'm sorry. I
It's
didn't
okay. No,
know.
no, no. No. I'm glad that you knew that, because I think that's what promoted that candy, because it was used in the movie. You saw it.
Right, right.
So, but I
Well,
like
you and
different
my daughter are the
different
same
types of.
generation, about just a couple of years span of difference. So you
Mhm.
two in like the same generation.
Yeah, I mean, I like different types of candy. They're not all chocolate. I mean, even though I mentioned most that are chocolate, but I mean, I like all different kinds of candy. The one called Runts. It's fruit candy, but it's in the shape of a fruit, like the banana shape of a banana. The cherries in
Oh
the shape of a
yeah.
cherry. Those are good. Let's see.
I
I
don't know
don't.
how I tolerated candy corn when I was a child. I think it's like a kid thing because when I tried it as an adult, like, whoa, that's so sweet.
If you're gonna go that route, I've actually learned a little something. Indian corn is a little better. It looks just like a candy corn. It's white, orange, but the top is not yellow. The top is like a brown or a black.
Oh,
And to me, it tastes a little better than the candy corn. But I do know that one I like. I don't know. I like so many different candies. I really don't know where to start. I mean, you know, um,
Steve, do you remember a candy? I have to ask this because this is my generation. It was kind of a candy, but it's kind of gum called Razzles.
I think I remember that Razzles,
Yes, they were
Razzles.
amazing. They came out like in 1970 or 71. And I loved Razzles. They were like little disc, like you described the color. Put in your mouth, it was like a hard candy. Then it turned into gum.
Mhm.
It was crazy.
There is another one. I don't mind talking about candy. This is another one you might remember. It's called Pop Rocks.
Yes,
You put it in your mouth, and these things would just start jumping around.
they would explode in your face and your mouth. It was
Yeah,
terrible. It was
Pop
fun.
Rocks. Let me see. Another one's called Nico. They're little
Nico
fruit
Necco
flavored.
wafers, Necco wafers.
That's the
Yeah.
one. That one. Um, let's see. So many,
Let's see
so
if you
many.
remember this, Steve. What was my favorite kind of chocolate candy when I was a child? Maybe you remember it. I love peanut butter cups, but it was like a close cousin to it, but not quite. Maybe you remember. Not a peanut butter cup, although I love them, but another close cousin.
Um, yeah. Okay. I think I know the one you're talking about. Mallow,
That's it.
mallow, mallow.
Goyer Mallow Cups. Yes. By the way, this is not a sponsored ad for any of the stuff that I just mentioned. I'm just
No, it's
saying.
not. No, it isn't. It's not. I mean, we're just, just generally just, and even bringing back some of the memories for the subscribers too is a bit, what we're doing too by bringing that up.
Yes.
No, Mallow. I remember Mallow cups. I've had them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Steve, want to mention something? We'll go back to your birthday in a minute. I know it's taking a little long, but it's a special occasion for your birthday, your
Mhm.
50th, no less. And by the way, if anybody wants to remember Steve on his birthday, you could always go to his channel for information. He could certainly and would love to. I know he appreciates Amazon gift cards. I'm just saying
Mhm.
for his special birthday. There you go. Steve, I have an outstanding memory when I was a kid going trick or treating. Can you imagine this? I was a kid. I went with my sister and my brother and their friends. You know, I was like the little kid tag along at that moment. This was back in like October of 1965 or 66. Just imagine us all, a whole group of us, no parents there. We were meandering in our costumes, like about not even like 3 in the afternoon, like they do it today. Like really, like when it was dark out. That's what we did. And we rang people's doorbells, but we always knew the neighbors, whatever. Some of the people we didn't really know, but they thought we were so cute. We got the candy. It was a safe time. Honestly, I cannot imagine that at this moment. I cannot. But like
Mhm.
that was the day before, I mean, the era before you would hear about razor blades and apples and all that stuff. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it was fun. It was really, really fun. We'd come back with a whole bunch of candy. It was just totally fun. What do you think about when people put a whole bunch of candy out in the jack-o'-lantern or something out on their porch step? And then comes one person and takes the whole thing of candy. Isn't that rude?
Yeah, and I noticed. I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't do that anymore. Instead, they themselves will portion out how much to give.
That makes
No, because
sense.
you no, because you can have somebody stingy come along or tightwad or whatever, or just a complete jerk. That's probably what I meant to say, and just go, you know, and
Yeah.
that's not. No, I would say two, three, four pieces to each one, not 20 or 30.
Well, one year was caught on a surveillance or a ring thing or whatever, you know, looking through a camera. I don't know where, some other state where a mom was with her kids and she ran and took a dive into the whole thing of
Oh
the
no.
candy. I was like, no, it's supposed to be fun. But let's get back to your very special day because lots of things happen on October 31st. I'm just telling you. I have a
Yeah.
question to you about your birthday. Did you ever go to a costume party on your birthday, even though you're celebrating your birthday?
Yeah, I have, but it's been, like I said, it's been a long time since I've gone to one. Of course, I went, in my Halloween
Right.
costume. I'm sure I've got old pictures, of me going to one. Um, I have a story for you. It's kind of funny, but I've been to them since then, and that same after effect did not happen. So when I was a little boy, I went trick or treating, and I went to this one house. Well, little did I know this one house was done up like a haunted house on the inside. So as I'm
Oh,
walking through, it was nice. I was about six, I think. I think it was my sixth birthday. I'm almost positive. And well, in the course of me going through this haunted house, it scared me. I mean, I got scared.
aw.
Well, it scared me so bad. Well, true story. I wet my pants.
Jeez. That happens. You know, little kids get scared. Absolutely.
Right, but
Absolutely.
I mean, I've been to haunted houses since then, and that has not happened since. But that was back then. But it
Right.
it really. But I vowed after that I'll never go back to another haunted house. No more haunted house. But I went back quite a few years later, gave it a try. Just went, you know.
You said that's that. You reminded me of something very briefly. I was in a Coney Island amusement park. I love amusement parks, right? But at that time, I was about maybe about 18 or 19, and I went on a couple of rides. My friend, from high school, and she and I went on, rides. And there's this one ride called the Haunted House. I thought that she was going. No offense to my friend, in case you're watching, but I thought that she was going to have the same experience you did at the haunted house. It was really scary. That
Yeah.
ride was so creepy at that time.
Mhm.
Oh my word. Steve, I want to wish you the very, very best for your 50th birthday. Is there anything you want to add to let us know that we should know about your 50th birthday?
Um,
Or anything for
well,
that matter?
well, no, not really anything right off. Like I said in the start of the segment, I don't feel any different at 50 than say when I was in my middle 40s or even in my early 40s. I don't. I really don't. I feel the same now, and I'm sure in about 2 or 3 years I'll feel the same then.
I didn't
Again,
feel anything in my 50s either. When I hit 50, I didn't feel it. I agree with you.
right. But again, all of you, it all has to do with how you take care of yourself when you're younger, which will in fact reflect in your older years.
It's
So
true.
that's really,
It
yeah.
all
So
adds
that's
up.
about that's really all about,
It's true.
because so but I've got a few things in store. I've got a couple of things in mind that I'm gonna, go do. I'll probably step out somewhere and have dinner at a favorite restaurant or something like that. And if anybody has any candy or anything they might want to, you know.
Little Halloween candy on your birthday. Hey, Steve,
Yeah.
do you celebrate birthday month? You're October 31, so does that include all of October or the next month, like when you celebrate a birthday month?
Sometimes it's a little bit of both. Sometimes I've alternated.
Mhm.
Sometimes I've done October, and sometimes I've just waited until the actual day,
Yeah.
and then say the first week of November, the first couple of weeks, I'll devote some time, you know, to do that. So I've actually gone both ways with it. It works out.
It
Hmm.
works out. So my advice to anybody watching, and I rarely give advice, when you get a birthday, take the whole month.
Hmm.
Thanks again, Steve. And
You're
thank you
welcome.
everybody for watching. And of course, like I said, not a sponsored ad. Go hang out at Steve's channel and you know, if you want to send him an Amazon gift card for his birthday. All right, have a great day, everybody. And I hope this thing clicks off properly. Take good care. Thanks again, Steve. Take care.
You're welcome.